16 miles north of the U.S.-Mexican border. It's the crown jewel of soccer in South Texas, AGB Park. Your stage tonight for RGV FC as the Toros collide with the Seattle Sounders FC2. Lincoln Rose, Devin Kerr with you this evening for 90 minutes here in the USL. And Devin, we talk about these two clubs in the Western Conference, separated by just 3 points in the table.
AGB Park, land of the free, home of the brave down here in Texas, and RGV is going to need something special to take down this very talented Sounders 2 squad.
Well, when you talk about S2, they are without their USL Player of the Week this past outing. Instead, another bright spot from that victory when you talk about Ray Sari.
And Ray Sari, what a phenomenal player he is. I called him my Iron Man. He's played every minute of every match for this squad, goal and 3 assists in all competitions. Great two-way player.
On the opposite side of things, again, in a rotation of players in and out, this time around we get to see Todd Wharton at the top of the formation.
Another special player, one of the Cavalier contingency on this RGV squad. He's got a goal and assist on this season, scored an absolute blinder versus Swope Park in Week 7.
We take a look at the starting 11 for Ezra Hendrickson and S2, and again, it's Sari in the middle, but I think Aaron Kovar should have our attention. A lot of great crosses could be going right in front of the face of goal.
Absolutely. Aaron Kovar, a lot of leadership, a lot of veteran play coming up top to help those guys out. Milo Barton up top, young kid. He's going to need to play off him. Watch for Nana Sinkum coming down the side, whipping those balls into those guys.
Again, Irvin Parra sits out tonight after picking up his 5th yellow of the season in the last outing. For the home squad Toros, you take a look at this veteran presence. And after we saw a lot of players sit in the last outing, Junior Gonzalez has the majority of his men back in.
Hey, Junior gave us a little heads up midweek that we were going to have a lot more changes leading in. And Goita in the back, but you still have Kasner and Wharton going to be able to move the ball around, and watch for Ruben Luna working off those guys up top.
Western Conference Showdown kicks off when we return.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd Division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy, beautiful game, and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
If the USL postseason started today, S2 would be your number 3 seed, and the home squad RGV FC Toros would in fact capture, along with head coach Junior Gonzalez, that final 8th seed going into postseason play.
Fortunately enough for RGV, they've got a couple games in hand right now. Speaking with Junior Gonzalez midweek, he's really looking on getting his boys back up into tempo, get them in a nice rhythm, start putting some W's up on the board on a regular basis. He knows this Sounders 2 squad very well, coming from that organization and being very good friends with Ezra Hendrickson.
Again, both of these clubs share the unique relationship with Major League Soccer partners, and the fact that development comes first, but success has not been far behind for either club.
This day and age of the United States, it's moving fast. One of the fastest growing leagues in the world, and it's nice to see the ability to have the affiliates in hand so you can move players up, move them down, make sure you get enough reps for everybody and continue the growth in the league all across this country. Garcia
trying to link up ahead to Kasner. Kasner coming off an 81-minute performance in the start the other day against Reno. Again, this is an RGVFC squad looking to bounce back from a 3-2 loss. They were able to strike early against Reno. This compared to Seattle that had to wait almost an hour into the match before a flurry of 3 goals.
3 goals in 13 minutes, wasn't it, Lincoln? And it was a beautiful 3 goals as well. Great 3-0 win against Los Dos. RGV, like you said, getting snake bit a little bit, losing 3-2, an excellent midweek effort. You know, going into that game, they'd only given up 5 goals all season long, and unfortunately gave up 3 in that contest. Very stingy at the back normally, weren't able to do so last match.
S2 with Para and Sari just playing so well with one another out there on the pitch against Los Dos. LA Galaxy 2 in that 3-0 finale. Meanwhile, RGVFC again, Junior Gonzalez, he knew the job he was accepting with the Toros. He loves the regular RGV men that he has day in and day out, but when the guys from Houston call and say we need to get some experience leading up to US Open Cup play for some of our men, you answer that call, and that will affect your lineup and some of your chemistry.
Yeah, Junior mentioned that to us, that not necessarily a level of frustration the guys coming in and out, but you can see it in training. There's not so much chemistry on the initial forefront. You don't get the same reps that you do day in, day out for these guys, but they do have a system in place with Omar on the first team, so he knows exactly what's going on with Wilmer, so he knows exactly what's going on, and they're able to put that into effect on a regular basis.
And just able to send a nice effort to keep the keeper honest again. Tyler Miller is your man in frame, his 10th start on the season. The New Jersey product, former Wildcat out of Northwestern, has the ball in touch for S2 here early on. Again, Lincoln Rose, Devin Kerr with you. A beautiful venue here in South Texas, Edinburgh, Texas, the site of HEB Park. And when you talk about the USL and the number of venues that are popping up around the country, it's not just the USL, but soccer as a whole throughout this country just continues to blossom.
It's fantastic. It's exactly what the sport needs in this country. Sport-specific sites for every single team and every single venue. Let's start to move away from sharing complexes if possible, if the financial capability is there. They want the game to continue to grow. You got to make the stadiums available. You got to make the facilities available to attract players and attract more investors for the future of this game.
And I know S2 fans likewise are excited about the announcement about a week ago that they'll be partnering up with Minor League Baseball's Tacoma Rainiers with a great facility in Tacoma. That perhaps just a couple of years away. As still early on, scoreless, looking for our first goal here in the 4th minute. As RGV and S2 colliding for the first time here this year. They'll lock horns again on August 6th when the men from South Texas will make their way up to the Great Northwest. So just across midfield, as this toss will be handled by Riley Grant, signed back in January. 22 years young, out of Ohio, former Akron and Penn State Nittany Lion. I know one of those two caught your attention.
Yeah, I'm a big Nittany Lion fan over here, so that definitely jumped off the page to me. Riley Grant, solid defender, has got excellent skill, great vision looking up the field, does a good job getting the ball out of the back and making the appropriate move when necessary.
Sagal will center this ball back, the Las Vegas native, as RGV will continue to try to build from the back here. Do have some options if they want to play a direct ball. I think a lot of folks look at this and sum it up as, look, S2 is a team that wants to quickly dictate the pace of this match. RGV has been a stingy defense until conceding those 3 goals in the last outing, and a little pause in play. As our first opportunity to introduce you to Timothy Ford, our center official tonight, along with Francisco Bermudez, his AR1, and Rosendo Avalia, his AR2. Our men in the green shirts here tonight. So Kasner, former Clemson Tiger, a closet full of orange, no doubt. As we say farewell to the 5th minute here. Saturday evening in South Texas, we are still in the low 90s for this matchup. Don't be surprised if there's a pause for hydration at some point. Oh, an opportunity out wide. Numbers surrounding in the box, and they try to simply go straight on frame. A big opportunity perhaps squandered by RGVFC. They'll look to get a second bite of the apple here. Back out to Kosner. As Kosner will tap it back to Wharton. And Seattle appears to have survived for now.
Ruben Luna going to be a little bit frustrated with himself. Did a good job getting down in the corner. He's got to knock that ball a little bit better and ping it at the top of the box. A little bit lackadaisical in his efforts.
And just trying to hold off that time, Eric Bird, the captain for RGV. Trying to get that ball back, won't have a chance, as Miller never had to put a glove on that ball. A small victory for S2 here early on as we remain scoreless. Battle at midfield. First good look here at Aaron Kovar. Kovar, one of the Seattle natives with the Sounders and with S2 here, former Stanford Cardinal. And Kovar making his debut with S2 here on the year, making the road trip. On the edge of the 18, as that ball escorted in by Rankin. And they will have their first significant opportunity here. A corner kick for the visitors out of Seattle. 7 minutes into this one. An opportunity to land an opening blow. And it will be Kovar to do the honors. Again, missed much of the middle portion of last season with a clavicle injury, but so great on crosses, and you can understand why this talented left boot will be handling the corners as well.
His body definitely struggled to come back from injury last year, but they've got some big boys they're going to throw into the box, see if they get ahead on the end of it.
Kovar delivers short, just atop the 6. And the first couple of touches belong to the home squad Toros.
Oh, you young kids at home, take a look at Ruben Luna working back there. Doing a great job coming back on that set piece to win the ball back for his team and knock it out. Yeah, that forward coming all the way back to help out on a critical opportunity, as RGV will survive here. Borja, the Spaniard, 25-year-old in goal today, making his 5th start, allowing 3 goals so far this season. And RGV had allowed just 5 goals all year before 3 goals conceded against an up-tempo Reno 1868 FC. That Lincoln you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast on the Sounders 2 side of the ball. Miller in goal. Solid mainstay back there, doing a great job, very regular starter. RGV, on the other hand, going from Carducci last game, moving into Angoito. He's still a very talented veteran. See what he can do for the pipe, between the pipes today, for RGV.
Kosner able to salvage this opportunity. James, a little space to work with, looking to link up with another orange kit. As James shows some concern before RGV will have to backpedal. Again, that is Charles Rankin down right now. And he is the S2 player in charge of any kind of direct attack, being that man available over the top for a S2 squad that otherwise would like to build up from the back line.
Yeah, Rankin, a little shove off, friendly little tap in the face there 10 minutes into the match. Look for him in combination play with David Olson. Move the ball up the field for Sounders too. No harm there. Jorginho James just trying to maintain possession, coming across the field. Again, just a friendly little tap, referee not having any of it though.
So off of his line, Tyler Miller will look to handle this kick. Couple of coaching staffs very familiar with one another. Ezra Hendrickson had lunch with Junior Gonzalez, as Hendrickson used to have Gonzalez as well as Brett Utley on his staff as recently as last year up in Seattle.
Like to know who picked up that tap.
That may be still to be determined. Again, looking to restart after the injury a moment ago. In the 11th minute here early on, both of these teams looking to be significant players in the USL postseason. With that said, RGV has not been able to capture all 3 points since a home outing against the Swope Park Rangers back on May 13th. Probably felt pretty good about themselves against last year's Western Conference champions. But a couple of draws and a loss most recently. 2 points total in the last 3 outings for Junior Gonzalez's club. And he knows that 3 points today would help get them right back into the fight, feel a lot more comfortable about their standing in the West.
Speaking with Junior, mentioned how kind of frustrated he was at his team's efforts kind of going up and down a little bit here and there. Again, a lot of talent on this RGV squad, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not going to sell the defense short, but I feel like offensively they really haven't come into their own yet. You've had Todd Wharton making a couple appearances here and there, doing well. TJ Kasner's been in and out of matches. Obviously Eric Bird, a bright light for this team, but they really need to figure out a way to put together a full 90 minutes to bring the whole package together.
Former national champion Junior Gonzalez was his time at UCLA with the Bruins back in 1997. Able to get him off the West Coast to South Texas with this opportunity with the Houston Dynamo and RGVFC. Former college head coach, had spent a lot of time in the scouting department, helps recruit some of these players for Seattle and identify them as young players. This probably involves slightly less scouting than a lot of assignments in the USL for Gonzalez.
Junior very familiar with the Sounders 2 squad. From a recruiting standpoint, from a training standpoint, he's been in and out of the program. As you mentioned, knows Ezra very well. Definitely from a scouting standpoint, it's got to be much easier this week, at least knowing the tendencies and their style of play, this, that, and the other. But still, very talented S2 squad. The Rave Green come hard every single week, and that's why they're sitting in one of those top positions now, currently sitting in 3rd in the Western Conference. RGV trying to sneak back up on them. Unfortunately, going through a rough spell. As you mentioned, winless in their last 3 games. They do, however, a little bright light at HEB Park. They've got 2-game unbeaten streak at home. See if they can continue that down the road here.
What more motivation do you need than when you walk out on this pitch in this beautiful facility? Even when the renderings came out, it was hard to believe that it would truly come to fruition, but it did, in fact, become a fantastic venue in South Texas, uniquely belonging to RGVFC. And, of course, a great fan base, including the Stampede, their supporters, help making it their home. As on the ball right now, it's Emilio Garcia out of Tijuana, Mexico. On loan from Pachuca from Liga MX. And a foul will help advance this opportunity for the Toros. In Seattle, missing several pieces, but that's nothing new for these 2 clubs. You talk about a couple of managers who have their hands full, never knowing exactly what ingredients they will have when it's time to put the meal together.
That being an affiliate club, you're constantly going to have players coming up and going down. On the Sounders 2 side of things, looks like they're going to have a lot of youngsters playing up in there, bringing up from the academy. One of my personal favorites, playing out of the back. Sam Rogers not on the squad tonight. Didn't travel either, but Sounders doing a great job of bringing those guys up through the academy. And don't sell RGV short. The Dynamo organization has done a great job of moving players through as well.
Victor Garza will have this throw as you look over the shoulder of Ezra Hendrickson, the 3-time MLS Cup champion with 3 different clubs. Of course, LA, DC, and Columbus. Hoping that some of his current players can go on to enjoy similar success. I know he is optimistic when you look at this roster from top to bottom.
Yeah, how can you not be? You got All-Americans coming from the collegiate level. You've got seasoned pros playing, young 18-year-olds making their marks on the game. It's a very exciting time in U.S. soccer, and it's great to see the growth in this country and see it continue.
S2 does not have to look far with the Sounders Academy An abundance of riches when it comes to talent up there in the West Coast and the Great Northwest. It's a lot like when we talk about Texas in high school football. Opportunity, top of the 18. Still not in the clear. And a modest hop into the arms of Miller.
That's some solid combination play down the side there from RGV. Ball into Kyle Murphy. Jorginho James!
Off of his line, and James will make him pay. RGV will strike first in the 16th minute. Oh, the opportunistic Jamaican.
Having conversations with Junior Gonzalez, he likes to stress that they like to be a possession-oriented team. And in my experience with them, although they are very capable, you will notice with RGV that they are a quick strike team that can bite you at a moment's notice. Jorginho James, Johnny on the spot in that situation. Very lackadaisical with S2 coming out of the back.
Another look, Tyler Miller had just come off his line after making a save. In the moment he pauses to catch his breath, too late.
Too late indeed. Jorginho James, just a great visionary right there. Well done, staying composed, noticing that S2 had made a terrible mistake, jumped on it, and with that one solid little touch, great bending ball to the back corner, 1-0 RGV.
As much praise as we have sent towards Seattle, we point out that is a league worst 24th goal allowed this year. It's only their own scoring 18 goals on the season that have helped keep them near the top of the table.
Well, they definitely got the offensive firepower. You got gentlemen like Nana Sinkum coming out of the back who brings that stuff down on the side, but at the same time, it doesn't matter how many goals you put up on the board, you're not putting zeros in the back, and they're showing it right there.
For James, his first goal as a Toro. After over 1,400 minutes last year, just shy of 300 this season. It has RGV out on top here, delighting their home fans.
And that number with Jorginho James a little bit on the low side this year due to injury, unfortunately. But speaking with Junior Gonzalez, he let us know that most recently getting back to full match fit, going to be able to go 90 minutes on a regular basis, and good for them. I like to call Jorginho the Bulldog. Does a great job holding down the middle of the park. You'll see him as he is now, constantly searching for the ball. He is built like a brick. It's hard to knock this player down, and he's got a great job moving the ball back and forth.
Just such a physical presence. And all of a sudden, the Toros have a lead to defend. And will continue to apply pressure here. Luna, presently your man down. Ruben Luna out of Mesquite, Texas. That is just east of Dallas. Should come as no surprise from FC Dallas's academy. And has been well toured throughout the professional ranks now in both the NASL and USL. 2014, 2015, played in Mexico for their Division II side in Playa del Carmen. That is not a bad gig if you can get it.
Not whatsoever. Another lackadaisical pass coming across the park there.
Rankin at midfield will just send it back to the back line to restart this opportunity.
And it's crazy to think of Ruben Luna as a veteran at this point in time, because the young man is only 25 years of age. But remember, like you said, coming up through the FC Dallas Academy, making his debut at 18 years old, 7 years into the game. Be nice for him to step up with RGV and show these boys the ropes, continue as a great leadership role down the road.
You know, former Atlanta Silverback when he helped lead them to a spring title, where they would go on to host that league's soccer bowl. And then, of course, instant payoff for RGV when he scored the team's first goal on the season. And a goal tonight already belonging to the home side, courtesy of James back in the 16th minute. And this just like the last outing in the sense that RGV was able to strike first, but then they conceded 2 in a row to Reno. And they find the insurance before conceding an equalizer and denying the cross that time off the left boot of Rankin, as the ball will go in touch to the visitors from Seattle. For S2, trailing here in the 20th minute, as they'll center it back inside the circle. Back to Ramos. Kasner along the near touchline. And just one too many dancing partners for him to handle.
It's a great job by Rinkin working his way back, helping Nana Sinkum out.
There was Nana Sinkum. He'll get the pass right back. Pennsylvania native, two-time national champion with Stanford. A lot of collegiate success on these two rosters.
Yeah, you can see, we're 20 minutes in. The Rave Green's struggling with possession a little bit so far. The Toros have done a good job kind of pushing them on their heels. It's been a little bit choppy at times between both teams. No real leader in possession for the most part. Sounders too trying to settle themselves down on the ball, but you can see Ruben Luna again applying the high pressure up top. You'll see that from RGV. There will be times they'll sit back and they'll let you go back and forth across the park, and then all of a sudden it's like a switch flips and boom, they're applying that high pressure to try and get you to get a little flustered and turn the ball over.
Oh, the turf monster comes up and grabs Riley Grant. Ball back over to the Toros. And full speed ahead for Garza. Garza marked by Sari. And just a giveaway. You hear the disappointment in the crowd as they'll play this advantage. Oh, right through the wickets. S2 down a goal here in the 22nd minute, up ahead to Rinkin. Rinkin looking for space, sends the cross in, and the Toros get the first touch. Rinkin just needed somebody to play with at the top of the six.
And Rinkin, an excellent individualistic effort down the left-hand side there. Unfortunately, knocked the ball back across, right to the penalty mark, no one there. Jorginho James turning the ball over in the park. Right as I said, Mr. Reliability has got to do a better job of holding on to the ball. Can't turn it over in your own third like that.
Still early in this one, in the midst of the opening 30 minutes of play. Sari with one assist last week. Again, Sari would score a goal as well against Los Dos in the 69th minute, assisted by Parra. He would go on to assist Parra's final goal in that 74th minute. Again, Parra sits out after an accumulation of yellows. That is something Sari will be concerned about today, playing with 4 here on the road.
Yeah, Irvin Parra, having him up top, doing a great job, both from the assisting standpoint and putting goals into the net. Haven't really seen much from the Sounders up top so far. I think their bright spot has been Rankin out on the left-hand side. Nana Sinkum needs to see if he can do a better job of linking up with him, making those nice runs I mentioned he's so good at. Sounders not really holding a lot of possession. The other side of the ball, RGV, a little bit wishy-washy with their tactics so far. Able to capitalize on Sounders' mistake, went up 1-0. Game hasn't really settled down so much though, still very choppy between the two teams.
Nana Sinkum, the former 22nd overall selection by Seattle in the Super Draft. Go on to sign with S2. Actually had his first pro goal in his debut with S2 against Sacramento. In fact, his only 2 goals this year have come against the Republic. He's probably lobbying for them to fall on the schedule a little more often.
Right, he's a very attack-minded defender coming around the side. I kind of think of him as like a Sergio Ramos type player who does a great job winning balls in the air, distributing those long diagonal balls out of the back, but also, working his way back when he does turn the ball over, doing a great job one-on-one breaking players down and winning possession for his team.
Brian Nana Sinkum with 2 goals in the USL, already twice as many goals than he had his entire NCAA career. He'll have a chance to play this one through the middle or out wide. Instead, they'll send it back to restart. Midway through the 25th minute, Lincoln Rose, Devin Kerr with you. As again, HEB Park plays host on this evening, just in case you don't believe us. Always appreciate our crew. And so the question is, will there be insurance or a chance to level this one? How will this one play out? You talk about all of these teams looking up at the Real Monarchs and San Antonio FC, each with 30 points. Monarchs even have a game in hand on San Antonio, and that's with San Antonio having yet to lose this year. San Antonio's on the road tonight in Oklahoma City. But you have those two teams that top the table in the West, and everybody else. There have been several weekends you look at that table after all of the USL matches have completed, and a single win would separate you being the 3rd seed and missing the postseason altogether.
How crazy is that? What a statistic that is being thrown at you on the other side. Yeah, I mean, Real Monarchs and San Antonio FC doing a great job of running away from everybody.
Speaking of trying to run away from everybody, Garcia just could not elude all the white kits. That ball back to the feet of Garcia, but ultimately now at the boots of Nana Sinkum. So RGV's lone goal came in a moment of what they thought was some comfort. A scary opportunity for the Toros that wound up just being a modest bouncer into the arms of Tyler Miller. He sends it back into play only to see an opportunistic Jorginho James fire one back into the net. And that is just a moment of hopelessness when you see that ball go over your head and realize you don't have a chance to intervene.
Ray Sari doing a good job right there through the midfield. Great two-way player, winning possession for his team. Sounders too getting an opportunity in front of the net here. Dead ball situation.
So S2 already with a big corner kick early on. This time set piece with the free kick. And it will continue to be Kovar to do the honors. 23-year-old with that left boot about to be on display again. See what Kovar has in mind. Borja back on his line, directing traffic. And Timothy Ford's going to have to come in and mediate for a moment, just inside the 18. Down by a goal. And another just short delivery. Never had a chance.
That's 2 in a row, both from the dead ball and from the corner. Sounders too going to be frustrated with themselves, neither of which very good delivery whatsoever. Need to do a better job of capitalizing on those opportunities when you're so deep in the other team's third.
If I recall correctly, ironically, it was Los Dos last week that was struggling on some of their set pieces. And their loss to S2. Opportunity still not lost, as this one just sent climbing well over the crossbar. And that'll do it for this chance for Seattle. As you see, Borja continues to just tend his lawn.
As we're looking around going, what exactly was your vision when you stepped up to that shot there? Little wink and a prayer and a nod to the gods from about 45 to 40 yards out.
He does not want that lunch to be the highlight of the day.
Not whatsoever. I'm sure Ezra's a little frustrated with his team's play so far. Not really maintaining a lot of possession. Solid little tackle right there by Nana Sinkum. Ray Sari, as I mentioned, great two-way player doing a good job of holding the ball in the middle. You can see the Sounders. This is what they need to be doing. Moving the ball back and forth across the park. Nana Sinkum moving into a center back position with Riley Grant on the outside. Not very much vision so far from a tactical and offensive standpoint from the Sounders, Rave Green, excuse me. You can see just kind of going through the motions. RGV has no problem with them going back and forth across the field unless they're stepping into the final third like that.
And that one just intercepted and taken away. And subsequent foul against S2. So a lead has been intact now for over 13 minutes for the home side. Jorginho James with his first goal on the season here in USL play. And you talk about just the shot in the arm that is to get an early result on the scoreboard. We talked about how Seattle had to wait almost an hour to find their first of 3 goals against LA Galaxy 2 7 nights ago, while RGV took the early advantage, but then would find themselves trailing 2-1, only to equalize and then slip 3-2 in the final. And their last outing against, again, 1868.
Yeah, Memo Rodriguez stepping up versus Reno. Scored in the 20th minute, coming off the rebound from Todd Wharton's initial shot. As you mentioned, Eric Bird did a great job from the spot, tying the game up. Unfortunately, could not close out. Junior Gonzalez talked about his frustration not being able to close out the game, but that his players aren't dispirited. They've done a great job about staying positive in the locker room, and they're not just getting out there going through the motions. They're making sure they're getting in, getting the treatment they need, making sure these guys are positive and ready for this game tonight.
Chance for RGV to regroup here offensively. Garza will handle the throw. Garza, the former Tigre. James will let it pass as Borja will come up. Again, S2 will buy itself some time along the back row. Opportunity to gain ground with the ball on the boot of Nanasinkum. Through traffic. Rankin inside the 18, but nothing doing. You hear that wind whipping through South Texas. Fans just need that sun to set. Get the temperatures into the high 80s for slight relief. Wharton was looking for an opportunity through the middle.
Yeah, you can see the spacing that the Sounders have done a good job playing man right there. Wharton having to come all the way back deep into his own third, almost to the top of his box as a center back, if you will, to get that ball. Trying to get it and have some positive distribution and make something happen for his team. Again, both teams kind of just knocking the ball around the back. Nothing really to talk about from the middle of the park or up top. I'd like to see a little bit more creativity from both sides.
As an S2 team already off to a much better start than last year when they had just one win in their first 12 matches. They'd go on to capture 9 victories by the end of the season, already victorious on 5 occasions here in 2017. Again, RGV sitting on 4 wins with a couple of games in hand to try to catch up to S2 and others in the West. Obviously, S2 very straightforward. The reserve side of the Seattle Sounders in Major League Soccer, a little more complicated with RGV, linked up with the Dynamo. But if you're familiar at all with the NBA Development League, the same ownership group in South Texas with the RGV Vipers, a couple times league champions there in the minor league for the NBA. Basically, your season tickets, sponsorships handled by one group. Meanwhile, all the personnel, the coaches handled by the pros, whether it be the Houston Rockets during basketball season or you turn around during soccer season and you link up with the Dynamo in Houston.
And everybody from top to bottom has done a good job buying into that system. From the rate of play, as you mentioned, the attendance in the games, I mean, the facilities are top-notch, first-rate, solid coaching. I mean, top to bottom, RGV's done a really, the entire organization has done a very good job at enticing people on every level to get them involved in many different ways.
Obviously, they were able to attract Junior Gonzalez away from his role with the Sounders in his first year at the helm this season. Getting to play his home matches here at a facility that hosts about 9,400 fans on any given night. Midway through the 35th minute, S2 trailing, something they did not experience last week against Los Dos. They can certainly sympathize with a loss to 1868, still fresh on their minds, that 6-0 defeat Looking for insurance from 18 will carry well beyond the far post. Probably would like to have another bite at that apple.
I was just about to say I haven't really heard much from Kyle Murphy so far. Jorginho James knocking a little 40-yard ball across the park. Kyle Murphy doing a little one-on-one song and dance on the right-hand side. Doing a good job stepping in. Got to make sure that he stays. It's a hard ball. You're coming in, trying to bring it across your body. Got to keep your head down. Make sure you stay over the top of it. Put one on target.
The New Yorker gets the start tonight in the midfield after coming off the bench for the final 9 minutes in the defeat last weekend. I say last weekend, just 3 days ago, pardon me. That was Wednesday's affair. This is a RGV team that has played back-to-back weekends in a midweek contest. But we do note a lot of those are fresh legs on display here tonight after getting Wednesday off, as Houston Dynamo had sent a busload of talent that needed to get their legs stretched out.
And we spoke with Junior about that. He mentioned how a lot of the changes between the matches that we've seen have become primarily because of the first team sending players down in. And you got to understand, when Wilmer makes that call, as you mentioned, Junior getting 2 phone calls a day, Wilmer and his wife. When Wilmer makes that call, you got to come and run and make sure you're helping out the first team appropriately. Yeah,
he makes plenty of calls, but there are 2 that he knows he has every day coming that are going to pop up on his caller ID. As again, Kasner back down, favoring that left calf. Well, for RGV, you talk about their success this year. Second best in the USL in terms of stingy goal-scoring defense, just allowing 8 goals this year.
TJ Kasner just taking a little knock on the outside of the left shin there. It's going to happen when you get stuck in the midfield. You're back to goal.
About 8 minutes remain here in this opening half before these 2 sides will have a chance to regroup. RGV has probably, I think can say, had more quality opportunities, but it certainly hasn't been decisive to the extent that you have a 1-0 shutout at the moment. S2, within a single moment, could pull this one even.
My man of the match right now so far is Rankin. He's doing a great job with that big motor working up and down the left-hand side. You can see him. I think he's got a little frustration going on, having to work back when the ball on his own. Some solid little combination play. Riley Grant throwing the ball, and again, the Sounders too need to do a better job of maintaining and holding possession on the ball. Both teams making some rough and silly mistakes here in the first half.
Rankin in his first start right there with a nice looking opportunity, and if the wind starts to blow your way, we may be talking about an uncomfortable keeper backpedaling, just hoping to poke one over the crossbar.
You could see Anguita a little nervous as he took a couple steps back there. Thought very sure of himself at first, had to double check and give a little quick pick over the shoulder.
His first year with RGV, his 5th start now, allowing just 3 goals thus far. Does have a shutout already on his resume, Anguita. Just takes one of those to all of a sudden pull this one even up on the scoreboard. Oh, right into a divot. You look at all the fans with the great vantage point, up close and in person. Not a hard sell in South Texas.
Not whatsoever. Especially when you got talent like this sitting on the field in front of you. You can come every week and see Magalhaes bringing the ball out of the back, Jorginho James playing in the middle. Got the likes of Eric Bird and Charlie Ward not here this evening, but again, RGV's done a good job working with the Dynamo, assembling a solid squad for these people to come out day in and day out every single week and put together a solid performance.
Because of their relationships with the MLS sides, neither of these clubs eligible for the US Open Cup. That includes RGV with its unique bond with the Dynamo. But I know the fans look forward to seeing some of their Toros suit up with Houston in this next round coming up.
I'm sure a couple of gentlemen on the field wouldn't mind being involved in that either.
And this will simply be a kick coming up for the Spaniard. as Junior continues the development and the coaching on match days. Again, he was able to bring Brett Utley with him from Seattle. Had a lot of confidence that he was surrounding himself with plenty of talent, both players and coaches.
Yeah, Junior talking to us about his opportunity to come here from the Sounders organization, bringing Utley with him. Talked about his relationship with Mannix.
Rankin, let's see if he earns himself a corner. Another big set piece opportunity for S2. Will this be the one to put a mark up on the board for the visitors from Seattle? Junior will look on as his men get organized. A short corner here. Again, Aaron Kovar making his debut with S2. Simply a throw. Volleys back and forth, trying to chest it down and settle this one. S2 within 30. Sorry will swing it out wide to Kovar. Kovar left-booted delivery. Just could not link up at the top of the 6. Again, the Toros back line is there.
Yeah, Kovar, solid little ball into the middle. Magalay's great job with that big frame, rising up and being able to clear with his head.
Oh, S2 has had chances as of late. But now within a few minutes of going into the locker room empty-handed just a moment ago.
Again, Kovar knocking that ball into the middle. Out-swinging left-footed ball. Magalay's getting up, Jorginho James clearing the ball. RGV doing a good job making sure they don't succeed a goal here in the waning moments of the first half.
Now Sinkum looking to link up along the far touchline. It'll simply be a toss coming up. See if it's our man from Haiti, Enzo Ulisi. Ulisi making his 6th start, 7th appearance on the year for S2, signed back in March. He's already had some big moments in the Caribbean. Into the Caribbean U20 best 11 after helping his club qualify for the CONCACAF U20 Championship. Hello, Stampede. "43 minutes now in the books here in Edinburgh. Toros found their go-ahead strike back in the 16th minute. Jorginho James opening up his account for 2017. Toros is trying to slow him down. Struggling to clear. And that'll be another corner opportunity. All 3 of them tonight belonging to Seattle.
See if S2 can do a better job. Very sorry stepping in here. Tired of the service that they've received so far. Said, hey, my turn. Let me step up on the ball.
3 assists on the year. Up to the 6, punched away by Borja. He'll get back to his line as he buys himself some time.
That's better service from the Sounders 2 right there. Sorry serving a great ball in.
This one stays tight. Oh, a dangerous opportunity as the Toros just with the better positioning. That heart for Angoitia may be skipping a beat every now and then. Kovar will now handle it on the opposite end.
Another solid service. Nana Sinkum switching over to the right side, flipping that ball into the middle. S2 applying some solid pressure here at the end of the first half, trying to scrape a tying goal up if they can.
Kovar hoping for a ball a little bit quicker. Again, the toss. Kovar could just well handle this like a set piece. And Kovar, the Seattle native, 23 years old. 10 starts in MLS last year before that injury. As we are into the minimum of 1 minute of additional play here. That means RGV will be asked to defend their goal advantage for a full half hour to go into the locker room up 1-0. S2 would like to chip away in the closing moments. Kovar, they'll play it back. Left boot on display. Opportunistic on that back post, but unable to capitalize. And that time, Riley Grant. Perhaps one final chance here from Ray Sari. Down by one and beautifully deflected off the temple. All the set pieces finally add up as Sari able to dial up Riley Grant.
Riley Grant very happy with himself. That big frame and big body coming to use in the box. Sari knocking a solid ball in. Sounders very happy with the fact they got a chance to equalize here in the waning moments in the first half. You can see Anguita's frustration knocking that ball out. Ball coming across, Sari knocked it in, just a flick onto the back post. Ruben Luna's got to do a better job of getting his body on him there. Riley Grant, solid effort, flick to the back post, and a solid equalizing goal, 1-1.
Again, Sari does the honors, and we are level at 1 goal apiece. Both clubs headed to the locker room. It's a brand new ball game in South Texas. So 2 of the top teams in the Western Conference colliding tonight. Not disappointing as both the Toros and S2 on the board. Take a look back at the first half highlights when we return to HEB Park.
All right, let's look at the scoreboard as Channel 5 brings our news in the half. We have 1 goal, advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd Division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Staff sergeant with over 15 years active duty in the reserves in the United States Army.
Well, we call it stoppage time, but S2, to their credit, refused to simply stand still and stay pat. Down a goal. They maximize their moments on the pitch in the opening half, and as a result, we are even, 1 goal apiece. Lincoln Rose Devon Kerr here at halftime, and well, both teams showing a few flashes of brilliance, but the set pieces decisively to the advantage of the visiting side from Seattle.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Seattle too struggling at first. You can see the possession pretty even so far. Shots on target, shots in general, same things. We're level at 1-1. I think it's a good representation of where the match is at. Not really a lot of creativity from either side. You mentioned the set pieces from the Rave Green. Struggled at first, able to do a good job of fighting back into the match in the waning moments, equalizing 1-1. RGV, for the most part, been against the run of attack. Mostly on the right-hand side, a little bit of TJ Kasner and Victor Garza action coming up. Haven't really seen much of Kyle Murphy. Leo Ayala hasn't gotten involved at all, and the midfields from both squads have definitely been lacking.
James scores his first goal of the USL season. Grant does the same for S2. When we talked to Junior Gonzalez, he told us the next area for this team to improve in South Texas is being the team that dictates the pace. What did you see in those first 45-plus minutes?
I think for the most part they kept the run of play. Again, on the offensive side of things, they definitely had more creativity. I didn't say they had creativity. They had more between the two sides. But neither team very definitive in their efforts, very lackadaisical in my opinion. There's too much talent on the field right now to be able to, have the result that we're seeing right now.
Well, we are already looking forward to both teams emerging from the locker room in that second half of play. 1 goal apiece in the Western Conference action tonight at HEB Park.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track.
Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man.
Things are going great for you.
You've earned a night out.
Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car?
Uh-oh.
Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
apiece in Edinburgh, Texas. RGV strikes in the 16th minute, but 30 minutes of soccer later, S2 pulls this one even.
9 a.m. Now Mustang comes at HEB Park.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy, beautiful game, and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Midway through this one, 1 goal apiece. S2 able to pull this one even. They will not have their second straight shutout after the blanking 3-0 against Los Dos last weekend. But they are thrilled to come out of the locker room without a deficit to be looking at Devin Kerr.
Yeah, I think both teams going to be content at this point in time. A lot of mistakes, especially in the middle of the park. Need to do a better job of controlling the ball, not giving up possession.
Take a look back at the eventful 45-plus minutes of play. The giveaway, and James makes him pay.
Jorginho James with an absolute bollocks of a strike from the corner. Well done. Again, as I mentioned, Johnny on the spot, just taking a look up, seeing Miller off his line. You can see his frustration knocking off the goalpost there. James slotting it away. Great job, 1-0 RGV.
So James opening his account on the year there in the 16th minute. A back-and-forth ball game. S2 would have some set-piece opportunities, a few dangerous crosses, but ultimately none would pay off. That is until the closing moments.
Yeah, Rankin did a good job up and down that left-hand side. You can see some combination play there. He really worked hard. Kid's got a big engine. Neither team able to take advantage of some of their opportunities. You can see his frustration there, shooting from about 35 out. Kyle Murphy on the other side. Great one-on-one effort, turning in again. Balance a little off. He's got to stay over the top of that ball. Kovar doing a good job on the other side, swinging the ball in. I think some of the quality from the crossing was lacking.
He would be sorry who would handle a big corner kick, though, in stoppage time in the opening half, and sure enough would find Riley Grant with the well-timed deflection.
Yeah, the Rave Green doing a terrible job in the early moments from the dead ball situations. Sorry from the set piece over there in the corner. Great ball swung in. Riley Grant, back post finisher. 1-1, and we're level at half.
Well, of course, neither side wants to leave tonight empty-handed without at least 1 point, especially if you are the visiting side. You look what S2 has coming up. All of those road matches on the horizon, as it will not get any easier from here on out.
4 out of the next 5. That is rough. You would think tonight they definitely got to pick up at least a point. You'd like to see 3. A lot of talent on the field, and then you've got a rough stretch there it's hard to win away.
Yeah, those 4 of 5, including this evening in South Texas. Meanwhile, for RGV, they'll continue their homestand against Los Dos, but then all of a sudden you're running into Sacramento, Colorado Springs, and Swope Park. 3 straight on the road will really test if they can stay in that battle for one of the top 8 playoff spots.
Well, speaking with Junior Gonzalez, he talked about closing now, even having games in hand. They've got to do a better job about finishing games. You saw it in the first half, controlling most of it from an offensive standpoint, going up 1-0, not doing a good job closing out the first half. They're at 1-1, and that's come back to bite them in other games. In order to maintain the 3 points and move up the table, especially against the likes of a Sacramento or a Colorado Springs, they got to do a much better job holding on to the ball and dictating the play.
Junior notes those games in hand. You see that cutoff line where the playoffs would include the top 8 teams at the moment. RGV is in. He talks about those games in hand. They need to result in 3 points on each night.
They're still games in hand. It's great to have them in your back pocket, if you will. In theory, they win 2 games, 6 points. Between the 2, you throw them into 20. Look, they're sitting in 3rd. However, everybody else is still looking down, and RGV is looking up going, okay, what do we need to do to put together a solid performance in order to get 3 points out of a match on a regular basis? Most importantly for them right now is the next 45 minutes.
Everybody looking up at the Real Monarchs and SAFC, including the Swope Park Rangers, last year's Western Conference Championship winners on the outside looking in. Charleston Battery, we will tell you this, they do renew that long-time rivalry with Richmond. They beat Richmond tonight. Kickers now have not won in their last 8 matches, and the Battery will continue their hold at that top spot in the East.
And that's going to be a dagger. Charleston Battery doing a good job maintaining that top spot. Some of the other teams I think we might see moving up. Charlotte Independence, great possession-oriented squad. Do a good job of moving the ball around the park. Couple games in hand there. Might see a little late run from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as well, but for the most part, the Rowdies and the Battery doing a good job of day in, day out, providing solid performances.
Can you wait till September and October when all of a sudden the scenarios get a little bit clearer and the battles each 90 minutes out there on the pitch just continue to be more of a grind for those 3 points?
I'm stoked. Right now we can sit here and theorize all we want. What if this, what if that? As you mentioned, later on in the season, as you get into the dog days, it's going to be no more what ifs. It's going to be the here and now, and you're going to need results.
So much soccer in the USL left to be played. You saw the once change for Ezra Hendrickson as Jamie Dimitrov will make his 5th appearance off the bench this year. Again, one of the talented players out of the Sounders Academy. So the question now, can the Toros reclaim an advantage or will it be S2? Oh, just a friendly nudge, courtesy of Nana Sinkum. Love to see a team come out intimidated on the road. Some physical play.
Well, you can see it looks like on the RGV side of things, Kyle Murphy and TJ Kasner switching up. Murphy on the left side in the first half. He switched over to the right now. Kasner on the left. Sensed a little bit of frustration by Kyle Murphy in the first half there, not really seeing a lot of the ball. And when he did get it on his feet, he seemed a little disgruntled, as if he wasn't really sure what to do with it, maybe moving him to the other side of the park. Little tactical change by Junior Gonzalez, trying to get that very talented young man involved in the play.
Our first offside call of the night. Again, Dimitrov will be entrusted as a center back now, coming in for Rodrigue L here in the second half. We did not mention L's name very often, and if you're a center back, that's just fine by you.
I'll tell you what, from personal experience, that's a great thing. Nana Sinkum doing a little bit more from an offensive standpoint, dictating the play for his team. I think Ray Sari was a little lost. Lorenzo Ramos wasn't really calling his name much, but Nana Sinkum stacking up, doing a good job of moving the ball for his team. But again, not having your name called is not the worst thing.
Ball delivered to the top of the 8. And they will extinguish that opportunity. You see Mathers on for Kovar. Kovar made his debut with S2 tonight. But 45 minutes will be enough. We saw him relieved of the set piece opportunity late when Ray Sari would handle it instead. And here is again Dimitrov.
see the tactical change by Ezra. And the Rave Green having a little frustration up top. Not very happy with the offensive firepower that was put in place in the first 45 minutes. Bringing on the likes of Zach Mathers. Nice to have that in reserves to bring him on the field. A fiery midfielder out of Duke, drafted 35th back in 2016. He's got great technique. And I mentioned Engine before. He's another guy who will really work hard both ways up and down the field.
I'm told you and I will be asked to go the full 90 with no substitutions available to us here in the booth.
You got that into you tonight?
Again, the USL no longer with 5 subs this year, more traditional 3 subs, and so when you're Ezra Hendrickson and you've already committed 2 of those, you are just holding hope against an injury late in this one that would force your hand for that final change.
Ezra being on the road, probably a little frustration on his part. You could see very lackadaisical in the first half by S2. Nothing really much to write home about. A lot of mistakes, especially tactically, not doing a good job of holding the ball when they needed to, turning the ball over in terrible places, making silly mistakes, and some players paid the price and they're on the bench now.
S2's defense coming through. James. Oh, another one of those trademark fingers from James as he was pushing off, and this time, yep, that keen eye, the yellow is out, the first warning on the day. And it is assessed your lone goal scorer in this outing for RGV. We saw it in the first half. Have to be careful with those hands.
Jorginho James again getting a little bit high with his hands there. Don't think there was much to it, but ref Timothy Ford wasn't having anything of it. Pulled the mustard out right away.
So our first flash of color here this evening. The yellow for James. As you'll see his right hand get extended in a moment. Pardon me, his left hand.
Jorginho's got to understand in those situations, he's got that big frame and big body. Did a good job in the first tackle of pushing him off the ball. Barton right there. The second tackle, continue your rate of play. No need to put your hands up. Even if you are frustrated, follow through with the play and continue your run. Most likely would have been on the positive side of that ball.
On another great set piece opportunity, they continue to mount here for S2. This time Dimitrov able to win this ball for Seattle. And he'll win it for your other newcomer here in the second half, the former Duke Blue Devil, Zach Mathers. His first time off the bench this year, 7th appearance overall this season. A couple of goals and an assist. Let's see what he has in mind here. And ultimately that one will bend wide and they will concede a corner.
And maybe a little bit of miscommunication between the boys up top. Not a terrible ball knocked to the back post. Barton kind of standing there bewildered as to whether or not he was supposed to be on the receiving end of that ball. RGV just being smart and knocking the ball out. Mathers getting another opportunity at the corner.
Barton getting just his second start of the season here today. 5th appearance overall. Back post, and ultimately too tall. And this will simply be a kick for RGV.
You saw Nana Sinkum shrinking in there. I think for a second he saw his name in lights as the ball approached. He quite rapidly understood that wasn't the case.
I misspeak. It'll be a toss, of course. Well, Dimitrov looking for an impact here in his opening 6+ minutes of play. Talk about the competition within these clubs. Trying to earn that playing time on any given night. Well, S2 has earned themselves several set-piece opportunities. Trying to direct traffic, send this one through congestion, hoping for a mistake from that back line of RGV, as Jamie Dimitrov again had sent another one inside the 18. You just continue to pound away at that rock, hoping to finally see it crack and falter. A right-booted delivery, and winds up into the arms of Angoitia. That sun's setting, temperatures dipping a tad. About 85 degrees still here though. Not quite 10 degrees cooler from when we kick things off here this evening. Again, your goals tonight, James for RGV. And Riley Grant with an expert service to him off the corner kick from Sari. This will simply be the goal kick now for Miller. Miller, who set the program record at Northwestern with those 36 shutouts, is just hoping to keep a 1 on the board for RGV for the rest of tonight, as he will hope that S2 can put another one on the board here in the second half, perhaps have another 3-goal flurry like they enjoyed in their last outing.
Tyler Miller, special talent, as you mentioned, coming out of Northwestern. Also had an opportunity back in 2015. Earned 2 caps for the U23s at the national level. 36 shutouts and 77 appearances. I don't care what collegiate level you're playing at, that is impressive.
He would be the second-round selection of Seattle in the Super Draft that year. Went on to play in Germany for about 10 matches. Well off of his line, Miller. Pardon me, is Angoitia.
Yeah, just a little walk in the park. Step up, boys. Feel free to use me if one.
He was concerned that we weren't talking about him enough.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense.
Different mindset than for your center backs.
And you can see Todd Wharton coming back in again. Jorginho James turning the ball over. RGV's got to be careful in situations like that.
Every ball hotly contested.
Mathers throwing his hands up in disgust, a little frustrated there, applying the pressure high on the pitch.
And the quick kick from Wharton not appreciated. Timothy Ford wants to talk it over. Just wants to make sure that this does not escalate. Our final 35 minutes. Already 10 minutes since these two sides re-emerged from the locker rooms. Both goals in the first half. RGV conceding just its 9th goal of the year. What a job Junior Gonzalez has done here in his first season at the helm of organizing that defense. Opportunity out wide. And here that defense will be tested again. Struggling to clear out of the 18. Let's see which way this one goes. This is going to stay with S2.
Yeah, Timothy Ford not happy with Kyle Murphy's effort there. I think Murphy got a little bit flagrant with his efforts.
See the collision. Hoping for that ball to go in touch and simply be a toss for the home side.
You could see Victor Garza trying to have words with Timothy Ford as well, but not really much he could do there. Ezra, the man at the helm, barking orders from the sidelines. Looking for Mathers to swing a solid ball in here. He's done a good job since he's come on so far. much to write home about there, though.
S2's last trip to the postseason, finishing 6th in the West back in 2015. Mentioned last year finished 12th in the Western Conference. A much more promising start here in 2017. As the majority of the conference looking up at him.
Interesting thing to note from RGV so far in the second half. Their production and play for the most part centered on the right side of the field in the first half. Switching Kasner and Murphy. Production has now gone back over to the left side of the park. Virginia James knocking the ball in frustration in the corner, having words with Ayala.
Leo Ayala, second year with RGV, the Houston native. Actually would venture over to the Sunshine State to be a Knight for UCF in college before becoming a pro in Texas. Fans looking for a reason to explode once again in celebration.
You're here in the 59th minute, you can hear the stampede, all those patrons up in section 112 doing a good job of trying to rally behind their boys, getting them involved in the game, keeping up the intensity. I'd like to see a little bit more firepower at play from RGV.
Ulysses will send it back in. Again, here's one of your two second half subs, Dimitrov. Oh, a chance out wide, and perhaps being too cautious trying to settle that ball rather than quickly take a gamble.
I think Rington got caught up in his own little frame there. A little starstruck that the ball ended up with him. Like you said, needed to do one or two less touches. Lost himself. Barton waiting on the other end of that. Plays a little bit sooner. I think S2 goes up 2-1.
S2 will look to build another opportunity here. You're just caught wide open, unmarked briefly with the ball coming your way in space between you and the keeper, and you just want to make it perfect. Instead, we enter the final half hour. Still even at 1 goal apiece. And S2 continues to again try to assert themselves. Two time zones removed from home. And about 16 miles north of the Rio Grande River, our natural border between the United States and Mexico. A passionate fan base for soccer over the years. Thrilled when they landed RGVFC officially, beginning its maiden journey last year. Fans just trying to get some circulation here on this 85-degree night.
Crisp and cool 85-degree night.
That's right.
At that.
Tell yourself that as the wind whips its way through our microphones. Texas has also been getting some significant rain over the past couple of weeks, and there's just no feeling quite like the humidity you experience. Freshly cut grass, steam coming up, moisture from the ground. At least the sun has taken the rest of the night off.
Love the picture you're painting for me there. You can see it on the park too.
Opportunity again out wide, 1v1. Dancing, delivering, and able to send it home. Kasner got it started with an expert delivery. And the Toros are back on top.
I think the stampede, you can see the flares coming out, the streamers. RGV very happy with Ruben Luna stepping up with that 2-1 finish. Jorginho James playing a great ball outside. TJ Kasner going one-on-one with the step over, ball placed across the middle, and Ruben Luna Had plenty of time. Terrible marking by S2, and I'll take that right on my foot in the back of the net. 2-1 RGV.
For Luna, his first goal of the season since that PK back on April 8th. Got his account started this year. And again, the second lead of the night for the gentleman wearing the captain's armband.
That's excellent ball movement by RGV. Seen a little bit more creativity from both squads. Sounders making another mistake down the park. The Rave Green S2. Jorginho James making him pay the price. Working his way down into the corner. TJ Kasner again, one-on-one effort, and RGV back at it here.
We'll confirm it was Luna with the goal. And S2 finds themselves with another uphill battle. Oh, by the way, they also find themselves with a flash of yellow sent to their lone goal scorer here today, Riley Grant.
You were mentioning earlier, as a defender, you never want your name mentioned for the wrong thing. Riley Grant already got his name in the books on the score sheet, leveling them in the latter parts of the first half. Just a rough tackle in his own third there, being shown the mustard.
Well, S2 is backpedaling. How much of that is simply him trying to buy his teammates some time to get organized?
Definitely on their back foot here.
Looking for insurance. And the fans at about the loudest crescendo we've had tonight. Garcia. 16 miles from his home nation. Looking to go in. James has the brace. And let me backtrack on that one. Magalias comes through. The defender with the offensive touch.
Evan did a great job on the back post there. Saw Garcia and Wharton standing next to each other. I thought maybe they might go into the books there and try and get a little clever with something from the training park. Wasn't gonna have it. Garcia with a sweeping ball, bending out with his right foot on the back post. S2 again, terrible marking. Magalay says, I will take that, thank you very much. Knocked it into the far post. Miller caught off guard. Again, lackadaisical marking there. They got no problem taking that. That's a free pass for sure.
The Brazilian and the Toros, for the third time this year, delight the home crowd to 3 goals.
Junior Gonzalez happy with his boys. David Olson backtracking on that set piece. Got to do a better job about getting his body in front of a player in a situation like that. You see him going to ground. Kids at home, that's a no-no. You want to stand your ground, stay up tall. You're going to win a ball, win it in the air, make him beat you in the air, much harder up there. And David Olson paying the price. RGV again has S2 on their toes. Heels, excuse me.
And James will be taken down. Let's see if he cramped up on that hamstring.
Correction, the last goal was done by number 5, Ivan Magales.
Oh, looming another dangerous opportunity now for RGV.
Jorginho James saying don't push too hard. Struggling with a little bit of an injury previously, which held him off the field for full 90 minutes until recently. As you mentioned, the temperature could be coming into play here. You're pushing your body to the limit. Got to make sure you stay hydrated. For Jorginho James, just take it easy, couple breathers, shake your legs off.
You and I talk about in jest the temperature. We are spoiled with something called air conditioning, whereas these gentlemen competing at full speed, and it's not a surprise when occasionally even the best of athletes succumb for a moment.
Absolutely, especially when you got a central midfielder like that, gentleman who's just on his bike all game long, up and down the pitch, putting in 9, 10, 11 kilometers over the course of the game. Everybody at home, feel free to bust out your calculator and do the conversion on your own. Jorginho James just stepping off for a quick drink, get right back on the pitch. They're going to miss him on this set piece. But Emilio Garcia looking to flip another ball in, see if he can get someone on the end of it.
Miller back on his line, has already conceded 3. S2 with the first 2 touches. And finally directed away by Dimitrov. 2 second-half goals by the home side, RGVFC. 3 unique goal scorers here tonight. A little flash.
Jorginho James doing a little song and dance, getting a little flashy here in the 68th minute. Let's talk about the ball coming out of the back from your goalkeeper, a little 40-yard ball across the pitch.
Garcia measuring his options, split his 2 teammates, and there's a white kit waiting for it. And this is our first chance in a while to see Borja touch this ball. Might be the first time he's had to touch it since taking a lead, let alone a 2-goal advantage now.
Sipping a nice little cup of tea in the back there. And I'm sure he's not going to be angry about the fact that he hasn't had to do too much moving around in his own box. Happy to get involved in play. We saw him moving up earlier saying, boys, I want to be involved too.
Keep it up, he'll be charged for admission. Well, S2, if you looked at the numbers, all the set pieces accumulated in this match, it did lead to that lone goal for the visiting side just before halftime, but nothing more. Kasner from 18 denied. Miller keeps it a 2-goal deficit.
Yeah, TJ Kasner stepping up again. He's had a lot of one-on-ones today. He's feeling it, very creative. Definitely not lacking the ability to go one-on-one with people. Seattle definitely on their heels here. I'm sure Ezra's barking from the sideline to tell his boys to settle down. Unfortunately, the game's got away with them a little bit in the 70th minute here. Down 3-1, you're on the road. Need to relax, show a little bit of composure. Bringing Matthews on. I saw a spark from him at first, haven't really seen much. See him on the ball now.
Ezra Hendrickson looks on, hoping for his team simply to look at the task at hand, look for that second goal. No chance to tie it up here, but you see one of the things that, in terms of footwork, the athletes on both sides have battled with here tonight.
Yeah, I tried to touch on it a little bit earlier on in the broadcast. You mentioned talking about humidity and the amount of rain Texas has had. It's starting to affect some of the play here. Guys losing their footing. Some of the tackles they're going into. It gets a little dangerous. Try and make sure you stay on your feet if possible. If you do have to go to ground, make sure you're doing it with the intent to win the ball and you're not dealing with any of the divots on the park. You can see Victor Garza just step in and off the sideline. Well done, heads up play.
Was tying his left boot, receives the pass, keeps it playable.
And Todd Wharton played it to him anyway and say, hey, get back on the pitch, help me out.
Garcia looking to link up with Kasner that time. Ulysses. Well, again, renewed confidence for RGV. They squandered that early advantage, and you have to imagine in the back of their head was their outing on Wednesday at Reno, thinking, oh no, not again.
They've done a great job about stepping up. Definitely reversal of fortunes from their last outing, as you mentioned. Emilio Garcia getting knocked down in the park there. Jorginho James stepping off the ball. On the reverse side of things, the Sounders are definitely stung. Coming off that 3-0 outing. Did a great job about coming up and applying pressure all game long. I have not seen that this time around. Laying off, even though they're down 3-1. Got to wonder what's going through Ezra's head to get his team back in the match.
And I believe flag up. So Kasner thought that he was going to have some options across the way. Instead, when he looked up, a flag in the air. I think Junior Gonzalez sweats.
Got me mystified. Yeah, Junior, a lot going on in the second half. There's a terrible mistake and a bad foul there. Don't need to give it up. Junior Gonzalez just barking orders, pacing up and down. I'm sure he's jabbering with Ezra, longtime friend of his.
This will be from distance for Zach Mathers, and former second-round selection in the Super Draft for Seattle. 24 games with the MLS side last year. Inside the 18, the cross denied. Another chance here, expert footwork, and just cannot capitalize. But I believe a corner pending. Talk about the second half that Dimitrov has already had.
Dimitrov with some solid little footwork in the box there.
Mathers, the other second half substitution. Again, he has handled these set pieces since coming on in Kovar's absence. Oh, a battle of 50-50 the other way. And able to avoid a minor disaster. Again,
Nuhu making a mistake with Kasner chasing him down, doing a good job of regaining possession of the ball.
Tolo able to prevent any opportunistic looks for RGV that time. I was about to say James needs to be careful with those arms, but instead he's the victim, and out will come our third yellow of the night, the second on Seattle, as this will be directed towards David Olson.
Yeah, David Olson obviously getting frustrated in the 74th minute, hasn't really seen much of the ball. As a player, that tends to be a tendency that will happen later on in the game when your team's down 3-1, you're on the road, the crowd's behind the home team. It's obviously some frustration coming into play. Interestingly enough, from S2 in the second half here, everything we have seen in the spark that they've got has come from their substitutes. It's come from Mathers and Dimitrov. Some excellent personal skill, some combination play. Not really a response from anybody else on the other side of the ball now. RGV doing a good job of controlling the match.
Early on, S2 was able to put their speed to work in this match, create opportunities on the offensive half. They capitalized on one of them. At the moment, pulling it even, one apiece, but in the second half, RGV, a couple of quick strikes of their own.
Unfortunately, Seattle being able to knock the ball around the park and offensively doing a good job of out-pressing and putting goals up on the board, but tonight, falling into one of those nasty habits that they've had all season long, where they've given up 23 coming into the match, and you can add another 3 to the tally.
Luna's going to laugh that one off. He had a subtle touch. That time, too cute.
Being up 3-1, you can laugh it off. He's going to be happy with his performance so far. RGV, again, need to be very careful that they don't lull themselves to sleep. They've had a history in the past kind of sitting back and not completing that full 90 minutes. Hopefully Junior Gonzalez can get his boys to finish out this game.
Cross, but nobody home on the opposite post. RGV would love nothing more than to enjoy a victory by staying at home for a week and welcome in the LA Galaxy 2 next Saturday. Seattle will return home briefly for the Energy, battling it out still with San Antonio tonight. Diego Restrepo has been brilliant for San Antonio with his shutout streak. I believe now the second longest in the USL's history. In SAFC's second year, of course, he comes on for an injured Matt Cardoni, who had been fantastic until going down to an injury a little over a month ago.
I'm sure Junior Gonzalez is relishing the opportunity to get his boys on the 17th of June back against Lostos. Last time they played, RGV controlling the entire match, maintaining that 1-0 lead, but again, couldn't close the game out. Ended up getting snake bitten in the end, tying it up 1-1 Lostos late in the game.
Midway through the 77th minute, S2 still the task at hand, needing at least 2 goals here tonight to come away with points from 17. And the hesitation with the left boot, shot never on frame. And now they will pause play with the concern.
You know, I'm almost wondering from a tactical standpoint, although healthy, Junior Gonzalez sitting on those subs with the possibility of bringing James out. I know he's a huge presence in the middle of the park, but he's sitting on a yellow card. He's had a couple of 50-50 challenges. Barton going down there, a couple 50-50 challenges that weren't necessarily malintent, but the last thing you would want to see in this situation is to have a player of that caliber, or a player at all for RGV, that's on the pitch go down with a second yellow card, go down to 10 men, and you've got a 2-goal lead with 12 minutes to play.
Again, it's an evening where S2 is playing without Irvin Parra, fresh off that 2-goal, 1-assist performance in the win against Los Dos after picking up his 5th yellow on the year in that match. In the absence of Parra, no Narbonne tonight in the midfield either. A different look, of course, without the young Sam Rogers.
Well, I think without those names, you've seen them struggle.
S2 got the first touch, but nothing more. From inside at 25, and I know you're hoping you just take that look, take that opportunity. It's not going to get much better if you can get closer.
Now Lorenzo Ramos a little frustrated with that one. James doing a good job stepping up the top of his box, not letting him get a clean shot off. Going back to the names, you know, not having your Rogers in the back, not having your Parra up top. Obviously, from a tactical standpoint, the Wraith Green have really struggled tonight versus RGV. You can see Lucatero coming on. Looks like Ruben Luna, his shift's over for the night.
Yeah, Luna right now has to assign the captain's armband to someone else. In his place will be Christian Lucatero, out of Pasadena, Texas, from the Houston area. Member of the USA U20 side comes on loan from Major League Soccer's Dynamo. Sub in, you want to get your first touch of that ball early on. Right-booted delivery, but nothing but orange kits in the area, uncontested, as Bora able to squeeze it in. And momentum will continue with the home side.
So it seems that Junior and I are on a similar page, though maybe not necessarily reading the same book, choosing to bring his forward off and bring a midfielder on, but he's opting to leave James on. An interesting substitution. I guess he's going to run the risk.
You likely caught a glance that it is Todd Wharton wearing the captain's armband with Luna off the pitch. Wharton, the former national champion in his own right, Virginia Cavalier. It's been an eventful evening for TJ Kastner as well. Second year with RGV.
It's got to be fun as a player to have the opportunity to play with a good friend and collegiate teammate that you won a national championship with, referencing Wharton and Eric Bird. Two players of great caliber and a boatload of potential.
We've got Wahoos from UVA, the Cavaliers, Clemson Tigers, Stanford Cardinal. A lot of built-in chemistry, and that's not even counting the bonds that you have with your countrymen, with the Jamaicans, or Seattle and Cameroon. Hard to speculate how much time will be added to the scheduled 90 here this evening. We've had our fair share of moments where play had to be stopped. Every single athlete out there taking advantage of this chance to hydrate.
See Timothy Ford, the referee, peeking over the shoulder. Boys, let me get a little sip. Looking like Magalay's just going to ground, maybe cramping a little bit. Coming off of that foul too. Junior Gonzalez having a couple words with the referee in the closing moments of the game. About 10 minutes to go or so on the clock. As you mentioned, some extra time. Still time for S2 to fight their way back into this game.
Right-footed delivery. And one of the better opportunities as of late, and it's not over yet. Denied point blank. Oh, RGV let that one linger a tad too long.
Borjas stuck in his own tracks. Rankin had no clue. The ball just fell on the doorstep and could not capitalize.
Rankin and company still hungry. That time, Olsen with the last touch.
S2 down but not out, trying to do a good job in the final closing moments here. It's a solid little battle. Still pushing in, still opportunities. Again, down but not out. Dimitrov putting in a solid shift so far as the substitution. In the second half, Mathers looking over the ball right now. Those two have provided a nice little spark. But again, they got to do a better job, creativity. Try and put something up on the board here.
Wrapping up the 83rd minute. As more time will melt away here. Two options. Instead, straight away. Oh, you had opportunities out on the wing, but briefly the door was open.
Well, if I am Emilio Garcia, I am screaming at the top of my lungs at the selfishness of Kyle Murphy in that situation. A decent effort on the beginning side of things, and he did a good job to break off on his own, but he's got to recognize, keep your head up, play that ball into the channel. Garcia just sitting there, could have been on the doorstep ready to slot one home and close this game out in the waning moments.
So RGV continuing to tilt this pitch in their favor, taking time off the clock, and this will advance that cause. Now when they possess, they're not just swinging it around the back line. They're going to continue to apply pressure.
100%. RGV done a much better job in the second half about keeping possession, moving the ball around the park. See Jorginho James much more active. Done a great job about possessing the ball, pushing his team into the final third, giving them opportunities to get up on the board. A little swipe there by Barton. Dimitrov, excuse me.
It's been an eventful second half for that young man.
He definitely gets an A for effort.
As our next addition to this drama will be Juan Garcia. May have to wait. And Todd Wharton comes on to handle this ball as your captain. And it is now official as Garcia will enter for TJ Kasner. Kasner played 81 in the last outing, ups that a bit north of 85 minutes here tonight. And he was certainly a factor, applying pressure.
Yeah, solid shift there for TJ Kasner. Boatload of pressure, as you mentioned, both on the right and left-hand sides of the field. Switching with Kyle Murphy in the second half. Did a great job applying pressure up top. A lot of one-on-one solo efforts. Definitely caused frustration in the back line. As you can see, Junior Gonzalez, they're very happy with that young man's efforts.
Still no sign of any sweat from Junior Gonzalez. Well, as soon as he took the job, he took in some friendlies with Mexico as well as the Dynamo to check out both of their preseasons. But was excited to again resume the role of being a manager. Something he last tasted really as a collegiate head coach. After working closely with this academy for Seattle, he is so familiar with many of these pieces. And the white kids tonight playing for head coach Ezra Hendrickson.
And Junior talked about the amazing opportunity that he had to get involved in this program and to make that leap. But you got to imagine if you're sitting in his shoes, that's got to be scary as well. You're stepping away from a Sounders program that's got boatloads of money behind them, titles, potential, players, academies. I mean, give credit to Junior Gonzalez and Wilmer with the first team of what they're building here out in Texas.
As long as Melissa gave it her stamp of approval.
I'm sure she definitely did, and I'm sure she'll be the first one to take credit for it as well.
This was a level match at 1 goal apiece at halftime. Toros cut down on conceding set piece opportunities to Seattle. I believe just a couple here in the second half. And S2 saw a quick strike, a pair of goals from the Toros. 3 different scorers tonight for the home side. Luna and Magalhaes helping reestablish a lead, and then Insurance.
And Cavs are doing a good job locking that ball into Luna in the 62nd minute. Garcia going back to Magalhaes in the 65th minute. 3 goals like that, and Seattle was left out to dry.
Ulysses. Ball takes a few too many bounces through the 18, but ultimately no damage done. The clock would suggest we have just 2 minutes left, but we anticipate a tad more will be added on. I know you'd like to see more pressure from that back line right there rather than letting RGV dictate this. It is back to S2 for the throw.
Intensity from S2. There's no desire, in my opinion. Again, the waning stages of the game. Not really pushing the ball up the park. I'm sure Ezra's frustrations have already toppled over well past seismic activity.
Well, this is a league that does not let you cherish a 3-0 blanking in front of your home crowd very long when you then go packing towards South Texas for your next stand against this gauntlet known as the Western Conference in the USL.
And credit to RGV as well, coming off that 3-2 midweek disappointment. Losing in the back end of the game there.
Jesse Ortiz about to come on for Emilio Garcia.
Emilio Garcia would be very happy with his efforts tonight. Junior Gonzalez definitely got a pat on the back for that young man. Solid shift all over the park, very creative offensively and defensively. You can see everybody on the sideline greeting him with a warm welcome, saying, "Well done, young man. Good job."
Again, Garcia on loan from Pachuca. And we will have no fewer than 3 additional minutes for this crowd at HEB Park to cheer on their Toros. Well, what can S2 do here in the final few minutes before heading back home and facing Oklahoma City?
They're gonna have a couple magic tricks up their sleeve. They're gonna need more than one rabbit out of the hat in a situation like this, especially when RGV just oozing with confidence on the ball, moving around the park.
Oh, how about that displacement? Mathers was able to get James off of his spot. And here's where you go to work. A chance to cut this deficit in half.
Jesse Ortiz stepping in there.
This is why we say no fewer than 3 minutes. Moments like this likely have that watch paused for Timothy Ford.
I'm watching an NBA game now, end up in the 99th minute. Yeah, Mathers and Ortiz exchanging a few words there.
Did Draymond Green just pick up another one? Again, one of your second half additions, Mathers. A quiet second half for Borja, who's trying to tend to his lawn. Their lone goal came in stoppage time in the first half. This ball slips through. Oh, so close. When time stands still, you think you can clear, and you whiff.
Borja slow to rise to his feet in that situation. Little pinball action in the box.
Mathers again, quick deflection, and then screaming over the crossbar. 2 different visitors from Seattle with a chance at that one.
I'm sure S2 would like both of those opportunities back. Some solid opportunity for the Rave Green at the end of this match to try and get back up on the board, and could not do so.
And so Ulysses was hoping to have the punctuation there. Well, had it simply been 1 goal in the second half for RGV and a 2-1 score on the board, perhaps this is a different story with S2 finding a way to come back as they did in the opening half. But the insurance has helped RGV gain confidence and likely have a chance to close this one out with 3 points.
I'm sure Ezra's definitely going to have a conversation with his boys. Got a long ride home, a lot of frustration, not able to close out their opportunities.
That is time. The Toros delighting their fans in South Texas. The two former colleagues meet, the handshake between Gonzalez and Hendrickson. 3-1 your final. So we'll have a chance to come back and sum this one up as the USL's Western Conference on display here tonight in Edinburgh.
At Doctors Hospital, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Well, let the celebration go on throughout this Saturday evening here in South Texas for the homeside Toros of RGV FC. Lincoln Rose, Devin Kerr back with you. And Devin, I think it's safe to say a lot of optimism for both clubs coming into this match. We did not know what to expect. Would it be the stingy back line and defense of the Toros once again kicking in after surrendering 3 goals in their last outing, a loss? Or would it be Seattle imposing its will in that offensive flurry when we saw 3 goals last week?
Definitely, they flip-flopped their tactics and a lot of things went their way. First and foremost, Jorginho James again, Johnny on the spot, doing a great job intercepting the pass. And final third, S2 making a terrible mistake. Jorginho just looking up, seeing him off his line. Tyler Miller has nothing but despair as he stares at that ball, and you can see his frustration by that young man. Jorginho James, great job knocking the ball away.
It would
1-0.
Be that 1-0 advantage for a full half hour in the opening half. We would slip into some stoppage time. S2 would have opportunities, some set pieces. They would come up short until finally, when we tacked on 1 minute of play, the set piece pays off.
Yeah, Ray Sari doing a great job from the corner there. S2 really struggling from dead ball situations in the first half. Ray Sari said, no, I'm going to step in. I'll take that. Did a great job swinging the ball in. Riley Grant getting his head on it, knocking to the back post.
Well, how often do we see a late first half goal push that team with the momentum in the second half to an advantage? Not the case tonight.
RGV came out flying. The Sounders were on their heels, had no response to it whatsoever. TJ Kasner going one-on-one to Luna, making it 2-1.
And then again, the final goal of the night. It would come from Magalhães as the Brazilian would score his first goal on the season.
RGV definitely not struggling on the dead ball situations tonight. Emilio Garcia doing a great job knocking that ball to the back post. Magalhães doing a great job rising up, using his body to win position on the free kick, knocking the ball away 3-1.
Well, S2 would continue to search for a second half goal. That would not come as in excess of 90 minutes played tonight. Most important stat, of course, the top one, but what else stood out to you?
I mean, I was a little bit surprised at the possession, to be honest. I thought RGV did a much better job in the second half. S2 known for holding the ball, being a very possession-oriented team. I didn't think they did a very good job tonight. As you can see, the cards started to mount up towards the end of the match there. Lucky someone wasn't shown red. A lot of shots, but like you said, most important stat up there, 3-1 RGV.
Have you seen a team dominated on corner kicks like the Toros were tonight and be able to survive?
Definitely not. I mean, credit to the Toros on the defensive side of the ball to be able to step in and defend on like that, but I mean, shame on S2 for not capitalizing in those situations.
Well, a reminder, RGV will now be charged to put together a winning streak. Twice this year they have won back-to-back. They'll try to do it again in front of the home crowd, as 1 week from tonight, LA Galaxy 2 Los Dos will come to South Texas, and the Toros will try to hand them a similar fate.
Again, RGV looking for retribution versus Los Dos. Last time out, decent match. RGV, great job controlling it top to bottom on the offensive defensive side of the ball. Junior Gonzalez talked about his mounting frustration towards the end of the match because they played so well and were unable to close out the victory.
Meanwhile, S2 will try to get back on track against an OKC Energy team that was stifling San Antonio tonight in a scoreless matchup. So again, a thriller tonight in the United Soccer League. One final time for my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, I'm Lincoln Rose. A big thank you to our entire broadcast crew as HEB Park witnesses 3 more points in the column on the table for their Toros.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.